It's often desirable to have nice transitions when going from one block to another. Normally, when you switch blocks on a spot, it just pops right over, as you can see here. Here I have a browser window that simulates this display spot that I have here, and I have another browser window that simulates this control panel. So in the past, the only way to get the transition was using a slideshow, which isn't really appropriate because a slideshow is only meant to play a sequence of blocks in order. But Blocks 3 now adds support for transitions in a few other places, which are often more practical to use. The first place where transitions have been added is on the spot itself. You'll find the settings under the Advanced tab. Here you can now select a transition instead of the default, which is still no transition. So let's switch this over to a dissolve, and you'll immediately see that now if I apply the block is applied with a transition. And this transition that is set on the spot itself will be applied regardless of how the block is replaced. So that can be someone manually just dragging it across as I'm doing here, or it can be a control panel like the one we have down here, where I have let's see if I can find that here. Here we go. Where I have a couple of buttons that just set the block to the Hawk video or the Y-Shark video. So those buttons essentially do the same thing. And if I now press this button, you can see it switches the video. You can also see now it's playing this one, and now it's playing that one, and you can see it does so with that transition. Finally, when you use a schedule to switch blocks based on time of day, the same transition is then applied when going from this block to that block according to the schedule. The second place where transitions are now supported is a book. Here I have a panel with a few buttons, and there is a book inside this wrapper right here. The book itself has a number of pages showing various content, a couple of videos and a couple of still images here. Going back to the panel, the buttons here are configured to show various pages in the book. So this will show the first page on the book, page 0. This will go one page back, and this will go one page forward. You can see they go to the wrap, and then they go to the book. So, and then they manipulate the current page in the book like this. So now I have this other web window over here, a browser window that acts as the display spot for this block, which is this display 1 here is connected to this browser here, and now I can test the functionality. So you can see that I can switch back and forth between these pages here, and I can go back to the start page where we have this Hawk video here. But as you can see, it just flips back and forth between the pages. So we can change that by going into the book, which we have here, and then we can change the transition here. So we can, maybe we take a zoom, and then we go back here, reload that page, and then when we go next, we have a zoom effect, and previous, it goes back, and you see we have this effect going from page to page. For transitions that have a direction, let's pick another transition here, like a slide in, for example. This has a direction. In this case, it slides in from right to left. So now if we go over and we try this again, you can see it slides in from right to left. They have actually an extra checkbox that isn't there for most other transitions that says auto reverse transition, because right now the transition is always right to left, regardless of whether you go to the next or you go to the previous. It doesn't really make any difference. It's always a right to left. But if we check this one, reload this spot, go next, 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 previous, then it reverses the direction of the transition, which is often what you want if you have this kind of next previous page navigation.